all the honorable members would appreciate. It was important to send a clear, strong, and resolute message after the Pahalgam attack. Our red lines had been crossed, and we had to make it very apparent that there would be serious consequences. As a result, the first step which was taken was that a meeting of the Cabinet Committee of Security took place on the 23rd of April, and that meeting decided that one, the Indus Waters Treaty of 1960 will be held in abeyance with immediate effect until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism. Two, the integrated checkpost Atari would be closed with immediate effect. Three, Pakistani nationals who are traveling under SARC visa exemption scheme will no longer be allowed to do that. Four, the defense, naval and air advisors of the Pakistani High Commission would be declared persona non grata. And five, the overall strength of the High Commission would be brought down to 30 from the number of 55. It was very clear, Honorable Speaker, sir, that after this first set of steps approved by the Cabinet Committee on Security, that India's response to the Pahalgam attack will not stop there. Our task, from a diplomatic perspective, from a foreign policy approach, was to shape the global understanding of the Pahalgam attack. What we tried to do was to bring out to the international community Pakistan's long-standing use of cross-border terrorism. We highlighted the history of terrorism in Pakistan and how this particular attack was meant to target the economy of Jammu and Kashmir and to sow communal discord among the people of India. Our messages were two. One, zero tolerance of terrorism, and two, the right to defend our people against terrorism. So all the interactions we did, the diplomatic briefings, we called all the embassies for briefings. We interacted with the media. All of this was aimed at these two objectives: zero tolerance of terrorism and the right to defend ourselves, right to defend the people of India against cross-border terrorism. Now, the focus for our diplomacy was understandably the UN Security Council. And Honorable Speaker, sir, the challenge for us was that at this particular point, Pakistan is a member of the Security Council. We are not. So we had to achieve our objectives in a Security Council where Pakistan is a member. Now, our goals in the Security Council were two. One, to get an endorsement from the Security Council of the need for accountability, and two, to bring to justice those who perpetrated this attack. And I am glad to say, Speaker, sir, and I hope that this is appreciated and recognized by the House. If you look at the Security Council statement of 25 April, the members of the Security Council condemned in the strongest terms the terrorist attack. They affirmed terrorism in all its forms and manifestations constitute one of the most serious threats to international peace and security. And most important, the Council underlined the need to hold the perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice. I highlight this, Speaker, sir, because this statement of the UN Security Council resonated throughout the international community. So when many honorable members asked today, where was the world on Pahalgam? I think the answer is there. The answer is there in a Security Council statement which says hold them accountable, bring them to justice, and that is exactly what we did through Operation Synindhur. Now, I also want, Honorable Speaker, sir, through you, to bring to the attention of the House a very interesting development pertaining to the TRF, the Resistance Front. When the Security Council was debating this on the 25th of April, and TRF had twice claimed responsibility for the Pahalgam attack, Pakistan defended the TRF. Pakistan tried to get any mention of TRF excluded, and in fact, the Pakistani foreign minister told his parliament that this is a great diplomatic achievement. Now, I mention it because today, again, thanks to our diplomacy, the TRF has been designated as a global terrorist organization by the US government, and the same Pakistani foreign minister who took so much pride saying, I defended the TRF, says, well, now if the US has done this, we accept it. So that is where the Security Council issue stood. If I could then, sir, move on to the diplomacy from 25th of April till the commencement of Operation Synindhur. During this period, there were obviously a number of phone calls, a number of conversations. At my level, there were 27 calls. At Prime Minister, I think almost 20 calls. About 35, 40 letters of support came in. And what we tried to do was to create a narrative, prepare the diplomacy for the launch of Operation Synindhur. And the result of that diplomacy, Honorable Speaker, sir, there are 193 nations of the members of the United Nations. 193. Only 3, apart from Pakistan, opposed Operation Synindhur. Only 3. If you look through this period, and I would be very happy to share with the House the exact positions of various governments, overwhelmingly, there was recognition that terrorism is unacceptable, that a country which has been attacked has a right to defend itself, and that India was doing exactly that. Now, when Operation Synindhur was launched, we spelled out our objectives. There was a statement, Honorable Raksha Mantri ji referred to it in his statement, where we put out for the benefit of our own people, for the international community, that Operation Synindhur was hitting the terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, from where terrorist attacks had been planned and launched. We highlighted that 9 sites had been targeted, and we said that our actions are focused, measured, and non-escalatory in nature. And we were living up to the commitment that those responsible for this attack will be held accountable. This was the commitment which was endorsed by the UN Security Council, thanks to our diplomacy. It was a commitment made by the Prime Minister to the people of India that we would hit those symbols, those sites, those planning places. So today, when I hear many questions from across the aisle, I want to say, which one of you imagined that Bhavalpur and Muridke would be brought down the way it was? Which one of you thought? When did you even think of it during your tenure? Did it even cross your mind? In fact, on the contrary, you ruled it out after 26/11. So I think our objectives are very clear. We wanted to send a message to the terrorists. We wanted to send a message to Pakistan that do not continue this support for terrorism. And I think on the morning of 7th of May, that message went home loud and clear. Now, sir, during this period, there was, when the operations were on, when the conflict, when the activities were on, operation is still continuing. A number of countries, number of their leaders, ministers, others called up. And they called up because people wanted to know what is happening. People wanted to know what is the thinking of India. People wanted to understand what we are doing. And I would like to share with the House, sir, through you, to everybody, we gave a common message. The common message was India is exercising its right to defend itself against terrorism. Number two, the targets which were hit on the 7th of May are known terrorist headquarters and infrastructure. Number three, there will be no mediation. Anything between us and Pakistan is bilateral. Number four, we will never bow down to nuclear blackmail. Number five, we are responding to Pakistani military attacks because after Operation Synindhur was launched, they had started targeting our military facilities. And we will continue to hit the Pakistani military. If the fighting is to stop, Pakistan must request it. And that request must come through the designated channel of DGMOs. This was a common message that we had given to many people who had called us during that period. Our position was very, very clear in how we were approaching the progress of Operation Synindhur. Now, sir, many members asked, some out of genuine curiosity, some perhaps less, what was the international support? How much international understanding was there of India's position? I would like to share with you a sample. So let me start with countries who are known to be partners of India. Quad. Quad gave a statement which says, the Quad unequivocally condemns all acts of terrorism and violent extremism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. We condemn in strongest terms the terrorist attacks in Pahalgam on 22 April and call for perpetrators, organizers, and financiers of this reprehensible act to be brought to justice without any delay. Now, sir, this is the Quad. Now, let us look at a different grouping. BRICS. Now, BRICS has China as a member, Russia as a member, it has Iran as a member, Brazil, South Africa, Egypt. BRICS also condemned the April 22 attack. It reaffirmed its commitment to combating terrorism, again including cross-border terrorism. Now, I would like members of this House to understand, if India is attacked, if there is a terrorist attack on India, and a country says we condemn cross-border terrorism, I think it is obvious to everybody what that cross-border terrorism is. So, I then move on, sir, to the Central Asia. The Central Asian countries opposed providing safe haven using terrorist proxies for cross-border terrorism, for terror financing. Now, I can cite statements from the Indian Ocean Rim Association, from individual countries, range of them. President Putin, for example, has said, he wrote to our president and said this brutal crime has no justification whatsoever and its perpetrators will face a deserved punishment. The president of Paraguay has said that he expresses solidarity and recognized India's legitimate right to self-defense. So the main point, the common thread, sir, which I would like to bring out is that number one, cross-border terrorism across the board has been recognized, all forms and manifestations, opposition to condemnation of Pahalgam terrorist attack, and the right of India to bring people to justice. Now, sir, in addition to that, I would particularly like to mention 2 or 3 other developments. One, the American designation of TRF. On the 17th of July, the Department of State designated TRF as a foreign terrorist organization and especially designated global terrorist. Now, this, sir, comes in the wake of the extradition of Tahavur Rana, who was involved in the 26/11 attack. And when people ask today, how successful is your foreign policy? Where is your diplomacy? I want to say that Tahavur Rana, which many of you tried for so long to get, is finally here because of us. I want to say TRF was designated not because somebody out there made a remark. TRF was designated as a global terrorist organization because our diplomacy persuaded another country to do that. Now, our strong stance has resonated across the world. I was some time ago in Germany, and standing next to me, the German foreign minister said, India has every right to defend itself against terrorism, and Germany will support this fight against terrorism. Similar position has been taken by France. Similar position has been taken by the European Union. So, what I would like to highlight, sir, is that today, where Operation Synindhur is concerned, there has been, the world sees what it is about. The world realizes this is a fight against terrorism. It is felt that India has acted responsibly but firmly. Now, I would like, sir, to address one particular aspect because some members have brought it up. And this is regarding the US activity during this period. Sir, I'd like to inform the House that on the 9th of May, Vice President J.D. Vance called the Prime Minister, warning of a massive Pakistani attack in the next few hours. Prime Minister, in his response, made it very clear that if such an attack happens, it would meet with an appropriate response from our side. Now, sir, that attack took place and was foiled by our armed forces, and I think the House should collectively appreciate the performance of the armed forces in foiling what was a massive attack on the 9th and 10th of May. Now, our response, which the Prime Minister promised, was delivered, and it was delivered with devastating effect. I don't have to say anything. Every member has seen satellite pictures of Pakistani airfields. You can see from the state of those airfields, which shown by the pictures, what was our answer. Now, on the 10th of May, we received phone calls sharing the impression of other countries that Pakistan was ready to cease the fighting. Our position was, if Pakistan was ready, we needed to get this as a request from the Pakistani side through the DGMO channel. That is exactly how that request came. Now, I want to make two things very clear, sir. One, at no stage in any conversation with the United States was there any linkage with trade and what was going on. Secondly, there was, please listen. Secondly, there was no call between the Prime Minister and President Trump from the 22nd of April, when President Trump called up to convey his sympathy, and the 17th of June, when he called up Prime Minister in Canada to explain why he could not meet. So I would again, मैं इसको दोहराता हूँ, 22 अप्रैल से 17 जून तक।
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मेरी एक बात की आपत्ति है, भारत देश का शपथ लिया हुआ विदेश मंत्री यहाँ स्टेटमेंट कर रहा है, उस पर भरोसा नहीं है, उनको किसी और देश पर भरोसा है। मैं समझ सकता हूं उनकी पार्टी में विदेश का महत्व क्या है, मगर इसका मतलब ये तो नहीं है पार्टी की सारी चीजें यहाँ सदन में आकर थोपे। भारत के विदेश मंत्री पर भरोसा नहीं करोगे? ओथ लिया हुआ व्यक्ति यहाँ पर बोल रहा है, ही इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, इसीलिए ये वहां बैठे हैं और 20 साल तक वहीं बैठने वाले हैं।
Honorable Speaker, sir, in the course of the debate today, some points were made by members of the opposition. I would like to respond to some of them. We were asked, why did you stop at this time? Why did you not go further? Please see who's asking this question. This question is being asked by people who, after 26/11, felt that the best action was inaction. Now, I would like, sir, to read out, because one member said, nowadays BJP members like reading from books. You get the truth in books. Sometimes you don't like what we read in books. So let me read out, sir, 2 excerpts from a book by the National Security Advisor of the UPA government. After 26/11, a chapter, there's a book called Choices. He says, on sober reflection and in hindsight, I now believe the decision not to retaliate militarily, but to concentrate on diplomatic, covert and other means was the right one for that time and place. This is what he says. But did he even do that? Because 26/11 happened in November of 2008. What was the reaction? The reaction was Sharm el-Sheikh. Was that diplomatic? Was it covert? Was it military? Now, what did Sharm el-Sheikh do? In Sharm el-Sheikh, the then government and the Pakistani Prime Minister agreed terrorism is a main threat to both countries. Now, today, sir, people are saying, America is hyphenating you, Russia is hyphenating you. That is what I heard Dipinder Huda ji say. Hello, you are hyphenating yourself. I mean, you did not need a foreign country to say, please link India to Pakistan. Your own government was saying, India and terrorism is a main threat to both countries. And then they said, terrorism should not be linked to the composite dialogue. And worst of all, they accepted a reference to Baluchistan in that. Now, here is a country reeling after 26/11. And you are equating Baluchistan and 26/11, what happened in Mumbai, and you are saying that the perpetrator and the victim have both got a problem. And then now you are asking me, why didn't you go further? People who did nothing are asking a government which did so much, saying, why didn't you do more? Now, you might think, sir, that this is a one-off. But this is a habit, because this is the thinking in that part of the house. Some years ago, there was, if you remember, sir, the Mumbai train bombing. The Mumbai train bombing happened in July of 2006. In September of 2006, 3 months after the Mumbai train bombing, at Havana, the UPA government, with its Pakistani counterpart, condemns all acts of terrorism as though we are both again equal, and agrees that it's a scourge that we need to effectively deal with together. And then they directed again resumption of dialogue. So what I want to highlight is, for people who did nothing to have the temerity, the gumption today to ask a government which did so much, which brought down Bhavalpur and Muridke, to say, why didn't you do more? I think it's extraordinary. Now, sir, we also heard from one of the early speakers saying we are now facing a two-front, and that the leader of opposition has been warning us about two-front. Now, all I can say, sir, is the person who said it, and maybe the leader of opposition, must have missed their history lessons in school. I'll tell you why. Because I would like to walk you through the history of this two-front. The two-front started because of something called POK. POK was created in 1948-49 by the government of this country by not completing the job of what was to be done. Now, sir, the House should note these dates. The two-front started 1963, when the Shaksgam Valley was ceded by Pakistan to China as a result of an agreement. Then in 1966, the Karakoram Highway was agreed upon, which took 20 years, was completed in 1986. Now, references were made to China-Pakistan military collaboration. So when did this collaboration start? I'll give you the year, 1966. In 1966, the first Chinese military supplies went to Pakistan. When did nuclear collaboration start? 1976. 1976, when Bhutto arranged for China-Pakistan to get together on this. And in 1980s, when Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was visiting China and Pakistan, that was when the nuclear collaboration was at its height. Now, let me go further. You will say, why are you talking history? So let me bring this further up. 2005, Pakistan-China Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. 2006, Pakistan-China Free Trade Agreement. 2013, handing over of Gwadar to China, Gwadar port to China. May 2013, announcement of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So, sir, we are getting warnings about a US-China, Pakistan-China collaboration when this collaboration has been going on for 60 years. Now, let me also address two other points. There was a reference made to IMF that, why did you not stop? Why did you not stop?
आपने सवाल उठाया तो जवाब भी सुनना पड़ेगा. आपने उठाया ना, आपके उपनेता ने उठाया, आपने सुनो जवाब. अब जैसे सवाल करोगे वैसे जवाब सुनने पड़ेंगे.
Sir, the IMF loan which was given was approved in September 2024. It was an extended fund facility of $7 billion. Now, sir, the House should know, Pakistan is a serial borrower from the IMF. I think 16 or 17 times they have taken IMF package. Now, very interesting comparison, sir. In 2008, Pakistan got a standby arrangement of $9.70 billion. In 2013, it got another one of $5.9 billion. So the very people who are concerned today at a 7 billion package should remember a 15 billion package went through for Pakistan during that tenure. Now, reference was made, sir, to FATF. I want to say the longest period that Pakistan has been under FATF grey list has been under the tenure of the Modi government. During the Modi government, from 2018 to 2022, 1,576 days, Pakistan was in the grey list. Yes, they were in the grey list earlier also. I am not denying that. It was for a shorter period. But I again want the House to appreciate that the FATF meeting in May 2025 has kept Pakistan in the enhanced follow-up category, recognizing that the compliance of Pakistan is only partial. Now, sir, so much for Pakistan. Some members also raised issues pertaining to China. So I would like to spend a few minutes on that. So I would first like the House to appreciate, because today we are getting these lectures saying China is a great danger, China, Pakistan are together, we are warning you. So what does the Congress party really think about China? Don't go by what they say. Let us see what they did. In 2005, China was designated as a strategic partner during Prime Minister Wen Jiabao's visit to India. Strategic partner. And there is a concept, very famous concept called Chindia, sir, a belief that China and India have common interest. And the main proponent of Chindia is the party spokesman of the people opposite. Now, some mention was made about visits, including my visit. Yes, I went to China. I went to China to make our position very clear about de-escalation, about trade restrictions, and about terrorism. I did not go to China for the Olympics. I did not go to China for secret agreements. I did not go. Sir, the House should know that people were watching Olympics when China was issuing stapled visas for people from Arunachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. This is the reality of China. Now, let me really tell you, sir, how is the relationship with China. Some years ago,
विदेश मंत्री जी को संरक्षण देना चाहिए। उनके स्पीकर जब बोल रहे थे, हम पूरे धैर्य से सुने। मैं बताऊंगा कितनी असत्य बातें बोली गई कल, परंतु फिर भी असत्य को भी हम हलाहल समझकर पी गए। अब ये सत्य भी नहीं सुन पाते हैं। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मुझे लगता है आपको प्रोटेक्शन देना चाहिए। बैठे बैठे टोका टोकी करना सबको आता है, ऐसा नहीं हमें नहीं आता, मगर इतने गंभीर विषय पर चर्चा जब हो रही है तो सरकार के प्रमुख विभाग के मंत्री को बोलते हुए बैठे बैठे टोकना ये विपक्ष को शोभा देता है क्या? मान्यवर, आपने बिल्कुल उनको आग्रह से कहना चाहिए, वरना हम भी हमारे मेंबर को बाद में समझा नहीं पाएंगे।
We heard today a lot about what was supposed to be the thinking.
बैठिए, आपको इजाजत नहीं, बैठिए।
Sir, we heard about warnings about China, cautions about China. China is planning this, China is planning that. But sir, I want to remind this House, Doklam crisis was on. The leader of opposition decided to get a briefing from whom? Not from the government, not from the emir, from the Chinese ambassador. He took his briefing from the Chinese ambassador when our military was confronting the Chinese military in Doklam. So I want to say that I want to say, and this is the political thinking. Let me, sir, give you the economic thinking. In 2006, the UPA government...
Please, बैठे टिप्पणी मत कीजिए, आप बहुत कर रहे हो। नहीं, गलत है, बैठे टिप्पणी मत कीजिए।
Sir, in 2006, because I want to illustrate my points with facts. I spoke about political facts, I spoke about border facts. Let me give you an economic fact. What is the economic thinking of the Congress party about China? In 2006, the Congress party agreed to do a regional trading arrangement with China. It was finalized during the visit of President Hu Jintao. A task force was appointed. The task force gave a positive recommendation. Through the efforts of various people, this did not happen. Let me give you the technology side. The very people today who are cautioning us on China are the people who allowed 3G and 4G to come from China. It is this government which made sure there was a made in India 5G. And finally, sir, we keep speaking about the border. The border, if today, whether it is the border with Pakistan, whether it is the border with China or any other border, if our military is today able to stand its ground, the kind of massive deployment that we saw on the China border after 2020, it is because our border infrastructure budget has gone up 4 times. Our tunneling, our road building, our bridging has doubled or tripled. And this is a far cry from the period when the thinking was, let's not develop the border because then the Chinese cannot come there. We had 60 years of neglect of the border. Today, in the last 10 years, that neglect has been reversed. There is still a lot of work to be done. So I think people need to understand. And it's not just in India, sir. We have just come back from Maldives. when I hear comments about foreign policy. Yesterday, day before yesterday, the Prime Minister was the guest of honor at the Independence Day of Maldives. This is the country which during their time forced an Indian company to leave an airport. That country today has invited India to build 2 new airports. Look at Sri Lanka. If the Hambantota port was built between 2005 and 2008, and at that time it was actually justified as saying that it has no impact on India's interest. So I want, sir, the House to appreciate that the people who are today claiming to be custodians of national security thinking, who say that they are giving warnings, let us look at the record, let us see what they did when they were in office. But now allow me to come back to Operation Synindhur. So I want, sir, to conclude by saying this. The challenge of cross-border terrorism continues, but Operation Synindhur marks a new phase. There is now a new normal. The new normal has 5 points. 1, terrorists will not be treated as proxies. 2, cross-border terrorism will get an appropriate response. 3, terror and talks are not possible together. There will only be talks on terror. 4, not yielding to nuclear blackmail. And finally, terror and good neighborliness cannot coexist. Blood and water cannot flow together. This is our position. So let me conclude, sir, by recognizing the role which this body and the upper house has played during this period in explaining our national position and our national interest on Operation Synindhur. We had, sir, 7 parliamentary delegations which went to 33 countries. Some comments were made about those delegations. I have to tell the honorable member, Arvind Sawantji, I'm sorry, you are completely misinformed. Those delegations were received with great honor. In many cases, the foreign minister of the country met them. Please look at the tweets of people sitting next to you. That itself will tell you. And
इनके बगल वालों से पूछ ले जानकारी.
Sir, these 7 delegations, the delegation led by Ravishankar Prasad ji, by Shashi Tharoor ji, by Baijan Panda ji, by Sanjay Kumar Jha ji, by Kanimori ji, by Supriya Sule ji, and by Shrikant Eknath Shinde ji. So these 7 delegations did the nation proud. They across the board, and every member, members of opposition, members of the government, public-spirited citizens, retired diplomats, they were able to explain to the whole world our posture of zero tolerance against terrorism. So I would like, sir, to end my remarks with the hope that on an issue as important as this struggle against terrorism, we can only succeed in ensuring zero tolerance against terrorism if we have a united voice in this country against terrorism. There must not be any division of opinion on this matter. The way the